It's Missing the Point. Welcome, everyone, to the podcast where we fill an ocean with our tears for Tyrese Haliburton, say goodbye to Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, try to make one another understand that the NBA salary apron is not a cute thing to wear while you grill burgers, and follow along live with the 2025 NBA draft, which just kicked off. I've been watching some of the sort of pre-draft coverage before we got onto the show here, and they did a few weird things. They brought out basically like the top 25, I think it was, guys, to just like stand on the stage, which I think is a little ballsy. What if like, I don't know, like if you're like
what if there's a Shador Standards?
Right. Like, I don't know. It seemed kind of weird, but it happened. I watched Lizard wearing a human suit, Adam Silver, go on the NBA TV broadcast and claim that it definitely isn't the amount of games we play in a year that's causing this huge uptick in players under 30 snapping their Achilles tendon or having their Achilles tendon rupture. I wonder why he's starting that PR campaign already. But I am joined here, Money Mike Marcangelo, the real BK Bob Kelly, and the three of us are going to talk about the NBA draft as it happens. I've got it up on the TV over here. I don't think we're going to stay for the whole draft, guys, as much as you purists might want us to. But we're going to talk about it alongside a thing we really have to do, which is recap Game 7 of the NBA Finals, because we haven't done a show since that tragedy. So let's start with that. Bobby, Tyrese Haliburton was playing really well. Like, I know there wasn't a huge sample size, but when his Achilles snapped, and I think all of us with the PTSD of Kevin Durant knew immediately with that signature sort of calf fat ripple that it was his Achilles. We all sort of said it to each other in the group chat. I was devastated. And then I thought, well, maybe they could still win. They were up at the half, for gosh sakes. The Oklahoma City Thunder, not the plucky underdog Pacers with everybody counted us out. We were never the favorite in any series. Would have been an absolute Cinderella story. Bobby, I'd ask you to speculate. Do the Pacers win that game if Haliburton's injury doesn't happen? What a non-Bobby answer that was.
He was playing great, and well, I mean, you think about it though. He was on point, and the reason they lost that game was turnovers, and that's what Haliburton really takes away from the Pacers. Is he's got the sure-handed pass, and he runs that offense in a way that they don't turn the ball over. So, considering turnovers were really the reason that they
It was already 3 for 4 from 3.
I think so. Right? And he was draining his shot. He was looking confident.
And he was moving around really well. Like, he was really looking amped up to win a Game 7. He looked like he was.
Yep.
I just feel like, Mike, I mean, can I ask you to be the hypothetical demon here and say
sure.
they would have won that championship?
Yeah, listen, of course they would have won the game. Haliburton was on a fucking tear. He still outscored 3 other Pacers in that game. He only played, 6 minutes?
For them.
So, I mean, that game, 2 of those other players that he outscored were starters. I mean, so yeah, I think the Pacers would have won that game. Haliburton was doing this entire playoff run where he was just making the NBA pay. I've said this 1,000 times, like, for voting him the most overrated, and he was showing them why he wasn't. It sucks, but on your Adam Silver comment, I really just think they just need to wear high tops. They really just do. This is what's happening when
Dr. Mike's here. He's put his stethoscope on, and he's got the diagnosis. And the answer is, in fact, not more cowbell this time. It is high top sneakers. I really, like, I hadn't actually thought about this, and we do like to sort of be prepared, but if we're going to go off the cuff on this, my response to that would be, that makes a lot of sense. If there's anything that's changed drastically, like, everybody's seen these numbers, right? Like, there was, I think, 40 Achilles injuries for the first, like, 50 years of the league. And there's been 9 in the last 2 seasons, right? So something has changed. It's been really drastic over the last few years. And
it's
honestly,
directionally accurate.
Right, exactly. It's the percentages. The math would math if I had the numbers. But there's been a massive uptick. That's the point I'm trying to make. And that is the only thing I can think of. Like, think back to Zion Williamson's fucking shoe exploding. Like, the form over function of the NBA sneaker that's basically been all downhill since the Jordan 1 might be responsible for this. You might not be wrong, quite frankly. Does Tatum wear low tops? Or Tatum's low tops?
Yes.
Yeah, Tatum.
Same for
Durant,
KD.
Kobe, Beal, and then Halliburton. All high top.
Dude, you might have just solved the case. You might have just cracked the whole thing wide open. We don't even need to
call him up right now.
Call that lizard up and tell him that we can still play 82 games. And he can just put his human suit back on, come out and tell us all about the Mike Marcangelo plan for saving Achilles. That's amazing. Honestly, that makes a lot of sense to me. I was going to say we should probably just play 72 games.
It's the games. We're in an era of load management now.
Which
so
also wrecks the
shouldn't
regular
games.
season. It fucking wrecks the regular season, the load management era. Like, to be honest, I have been, and this is just between me and you guys, and everybody listening to this recorded podcast.
Well, not really, but yeah.
Don't tell anyone, but my interest in the NBA regular season has been ticking down percentage by percentage for the past decade, I'd say. I watch key games now at this point, big matchups, big Saturday games I'll usually have on, Eastern Conference rivals for the Celtics, and then if there's a player I like on and I have nothing else to do, I'll put that game on. I've been paying for League Pass for 10 years. And I definitely utilize it less and less as far as bang for your buck goes. I feel like when I first started getting League Pass, I just had it on my TV at all times. I had some game. If there was one on, I just had it on. Now, maybe that's indicative of the fact that I'm getting old and my attentions are changing. Yeah, maybe I'm an adult now. That could be part of it. My budding interest in the Second World War grows as my interest in basketball wanes. That's just what being an old white man is. But we already have a regular season problem. So even if you can't blame the injuries, can we make the regular season a little bit more and make the games count more?
Not to blow this entire thing up, but isn't it really just a post-Christmas to mid-March problem? Because it feels like the league is solved for everything up until Christmas Day, and Christmas Day matchups are usually awesome, regardless of whether the NFL wants to fucking try and take over that. But then it's like, nobody gives a shit about the All-Star game because the players don't give a shit about the All-Star game. The dunk contest is it sucks again. So it's like we really don't have any interest in the league from December 26th until like
the All-Star game gets better if we knock 10 games off the regular season as well. And quite frankly, if it were up to me, if you give us, let's do it like this. Let's play a little game here. We're the board. We're the NBA board. We're three lizards wearing human suits, and we run the National Basketball Association. We're going to make unilateral decisions on this. So we'll have to come to at least a majority agreement. All right. Sounds fair. I'm taking the regular season down to 72 games, and I'm taking the first round of the playoffs back down to 5. Who says no?
I agree. Well, Mike, before I agree to the regular season, is there still load management requirements in order to qualify for like those player awards? Because right now it's 60 games?
I think we do it on the honor system. We take the load management requirements off and we go like, we took 10 games off the schedule. Don't be pussies. We have a conversation with the players union.
The season's still now 12 games longer than their load management requirements currently.
Yeah, but no more load management requirements. Like we take those away. So yes, we get some back, but in return, how about this for an idea? A Christmas, with the exception of Christmas Day, let's say after Christmas Day, St. Stephen's Day, as we refer to it in Ireland, December 26th, you get a Christmas break. You get 3 weeks off. That's those 10 games. That's where it would have happened. You get 3.5 weeks off or whatever it would come out to. So in the middle of the season, you get a full-blown rest and recovery period. It's been proven to work in other sports. It's a thing that works in Germany. They're big on the health science, the sports science stuff there. I think that would be a really enticing thing for the players because we don't have any coverage for that amount of time. And then we come back to the All-Star break. We end the break with the All-Star game so that they can use the All-Star game, the dunk contest, the three-point contest to warm back up for the season.
A little incentive on the competitions there.
Yeah. Yep.
I like it in theory. I would just move your dates. I would have the entire month of February off, but the last 3 days in February being
because you think everything up until that point is pretty much fine.
Shortening season sounds like a good idea to me because if you remember the two best regular seasons that we've had in recent memory, it was the two shortened regular seasons, the COVID year and the lockout year. Those two regular seasons, the games meant so much, and you were riveted by each one of them.
The year was fucking great.
Dude,
that was
awesome.
So memorable.
Started on Christmas Day, and what did they play? I think they played 40-something games that year.
Yeah, but I think I agree with you wholeheartedly because the games count for more. Think about how every game feels in the NFL. I'm not asking to go down to 18 games, but think about how every game feels in the NFL and the impact that it can have across the board. Secondly, I want to do away with the divisions. No more divisions. We're done with those. We're going to do a pure seeded strength of schedule. We're going to do a fully transparent seeded strength of schedule scheduling every year where we just do a show. We put it on NBA TV, and if TNT or ESPN wants to carry it on ESPN3 or whatever, we do a show where we go, we're going to seed it. So like, if you're the number 1 seed, you have a target on your back now. You have to play so many more like super competitive, difficult games, like because you're the champions last year. You were the number 1 seed last year, whatever. If you suck, you only get to play for the most part teams that suck now or sucked last year. So I think what that does is it gives us a chance for teams that suck to get better and get more parity in the league than the following year, and it creates a situation like we had in the West this year where a lot of teams are duking it out for similar positions, and you can do East-West seeding. What do you think of that idea?
I think, again, in theory, that sounds awesome to me. Can I just make one more?
Yeah.
Just point of feedback. The winner of the NBA Cup, if they are a playoff team, is guaranteed home court, the playoffs. So the top 4
I love
seed.
that idea. I
And
need
if
the
they're-
NBA Cup to
and
matter.
if they're not a playoff team, they're guaranteed a top 6 pick.
What about if they're not? Yes. What? Let's not guarantee them a top 6 pick. Let's give them a 10% bump in their next lottery percentage chances. Like you give them one more ball, right? Like you get a 10% bump if you win the NBA Cup, or if they're not a playoff team, automatic playoff entrance.
Or
You bump out the
play-in.
8 seed.
Instant
Play-in,
play-in,
automatic
play-in.
play. Yeah, instant play-in. There you
Yeah.
go. Definitely. I like all those ideas, and I think they could all work in tandem, to be honest with you, because some apply to a team. Like if the NBA Cup champion happens to be a team that
7
isn't
seed.
good, yeah, exactly, like a mid-table or lower team, then you have a situation where they're rewarded for that. Then it's built in the top teams as well, because they get, I wonder, automatic home court. Yeah, that works. So you get the automatic home court no matter what. I mean, I think that's an incentive, and it's an incentive for the lower ranked teams
Not for
to
the
do
Celtics,
better.
but
I mean, I think the NBA Cup is kind of our best case scenario next season, to be honest with you. So if we're trying to win some shit next year, I think it should be NBA Cup time, to be honest. I think we should have a big picture of it on the wall, because I don't know if I could draw it from memory at this point. We need it to matter more. I love that idea. Bobby, anything else to improve this league? Immediately remove Bronny James just out of spite.
No, I think shortening the season is the number 1 thing for sure, because not only does it make the games more impactful, but then you get less of these injuries. I think we stick with the high top.
mandated high top
That was-
sneakers.
That was a brilliant idea.
Mandated high top sneakers. Yes, we're making that a rule. We already decided that. We're gonna do like a Dr. House. We're gonna prescribe the cure, and we'll also put on a commission to do the research too, to like keep the numbers. Obviously, Cooper Flag went first, guys. Nobody's
Yeah,
surprised
official.
there. New England's own. The San Antonio Spurs pick is in. They haven't chosen anybody yet, but yeah, unsurprisingly, actually, maybe a little surprisingly, considering the absolute schizoid behavior of the Dallas Mavericks front office that like somehow lucked them into this situation that they're in right now. Luck, or
Lucked.
perhaps a lizard that wears a human suit had something to do with it.
Envelope theory.
It doesn't do it with the same sort of panache as our David Stern used to do it, with the same sort of like, yes, I did kind of attitude that David Stern had,
Right.
where he could be like, hey, we're going to trade Chris Paul, Dylan Harper, guard, to the San Antonio Spurs, by the way. Yeah, which was what I had on our mock draft board. No surprise there really either. I think he was probably the second best player in the draft. So, we're going to be more like David Stern in our imaginary NBA running. We're going to be more like, yeah, Chris Paul can't go play with Dwight Howard. That's not happening. We're going to block trades all the time. 3 Celtics fans run the league. The internet forums are going to be lit. I'd say we're probably going to let the Timberwolves win 1 or 2. I'll tell
What's that? Only if they go back to their old jerseys. The 90s Timberwolves jerseys were fire. We got to bring
Oh,
those
yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, what about this? Get rid of the Pelicans. Send that franchise to Seattle, right? Don't send the Oklahoma City Thunder back to Seattle, but do send that championship they just won as penance for leaving Seattle in the first place. You now owe the new Seattle Supersonics, formerly the New Orleans Pelicans, you now owe them that 1 ring that you just won. And you guys only get to protect 3 players in the expansion draft because nobody gives a shit about Oklahoma City.
It's just worth noting that this is all because Haliburton blew his Achilles.
I
That's
know.
how this entire thing just fucking spawned.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Well, we've reinvented the league. We fixed everything. I quite like it personally. All right. What do you think about OKC's legacy as a team? I mean, obviously they're positioned the best to win now and win later. They have a shitload of picks over the next few years. They're in a pretty nice position. They're pretty healthy. They're playing on easy mode at this point. They're a really good team. They're a really young team. They have so much upside, probably more capital upside with an already good team combination than I've seen in any sport in a long time. They're fixed to sort of dominate over the next few years. So it might not really matter that this finals will be remembered as the finals where the Pacers lost more so than the Oklahoma City Thunder won, because it might be part of a Spursy type franchise dynasty. So do you think any of that's true? The Celtics got accused of a lot of things when they won their championship last year, and the parallels of the Oklahoma City Thunder's championship win are pretty crazy if you think about it. Even like, I mean, everybody was giving us shit for not having like tough competition in the finals last year. On paper, I think we played better players than the Oklahoma City Thunder played. So what do you think? Are they going to be the biggest thing since sliced bread out in the West? Or is that very challenging West going to get harder? And how much in your head, I guess I sort of assumed, Bobby, I'll start with you. How much in your head is this franchise's win overshadowed by the storyline of the Indiana Pacers? Is that just me, or is that what you think the collective conscious is going to think?
So, no, I think it does have a little bit. I think the injury and the Pacers front puts a little bit of an asterisk on it, a tiny bit, just because we don't know what would have happened in that game 7. And, Indiana was definitely hanging in there. So I think it definitely puts a little bit of an asterisk on it, but I don't think it in the long run it's going to matter, because this OKC team is just loaded. I mean, Chet Holmgren right now is probably at like 60 to 70% of the player that he's going to be. That dude has.
Well, I mean, he had a couple of great defensive games, but they were basically able to live without him as a real go-to scoring threat for the entirety of the finals, which is like, he's still going to have the game that he has get better in that regard. So, they're already so good. I'm a little nervous.
They missed the opportunity to join the under 20 loss club, which was a little disappointing to me. I thought that they were going to join that club. The Celtics missed it
made for such a good finals. Made for such a good finals. Everybody thought this, but I was thinking there was a chance that they were going to stay in the one loss in the playoffs club, which was the same thing really. But one loss in the playoffs is crazy. Like to have one series go 5 and have every other series go 4, like. It's just not something it's not how the Celtics win championships. I'll tell you that. That's just like not how they do it for the most part. So, or at least in my lifetime. But yeah, I mean, Mike, any dissenting opinion on that? Do you think we're going to remember this OKC team more than we're going to remember Indiana?
I think people will remember the fact that the better team did win, but they should have won more decisively. And that the Haliburton injury was the reason why they won game 7. If you strip away everything else, this team was the best team from start to finish, just like we were last year in the East. They deserve to win.
1-2 punch at the top.
I do just think the West, like if they were in the East, I think you could say this is a 5-year window where they could rattle off 3 or 4. But the West, man, I don't know. And now
you never know over there.
Like we're dealing with it now, the luxury tax in the second apron. There's only so much time that they have before these young players sign big deals. And then what?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think then what is they just draft more sick young guys because they have so many fucking picks over the next million years, because like the Clippers needed Paul George and like that didn't go that well.
They got SGA and all those picks too.
And one of those picks was J-Dub, which is like arguably that was their 1-2 punch coming in to win this thing. So you guys needed Paul George that badly. The Podcast P studio is moving all around the nation at this point. There's too many places to set up a new podcast for that guy at this point, but it's fine. I mean, we probably benefited from the most lopsided trade 2 trades ago. And, we didn't shut the fuck up about it for 10 years. Now, since the Luka trade has happened, although looks like the Mavs are going to be pretty good all of a sudden, like pretty quickly again. Cooper Flag, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis. I mean, I think that's a lot of firepower. That's a lot of scoring firepower. Cooper Flag, to be fair, is 18. So, like, let's see what we can accomplish with him. But you know what is crazy, though, is the Spurs having the number 2 overall pick. I would have loved to see them try whatever they needed to try to go up and get Flag at 1 to pair him with Wemby. Because like, I mean, that's just like, I don't even know if my imagination could really reach that, because I know we sort of yada-yada'd over the first overall pick just because there's been so much Cooper Flag discourse, but I have done a little bit of research on the guy. Like, where does he rank in the history of like overall, number 1 overall, like hype picks? Pretty high, to be honest with you. Like, he's the real deal. I don't think there's much of a chance of them getting this one wrong. I think the fact that they were able to get Luka.
Quick question. Is he ranked higher than Markelle Fultz was ranked at that time?
Yes.
Because he was like a can't miss.
He was kind of a can't miss. There was already talk about his shooting form and like they might have to work on his shot. There was like a lot of weird kind of things happening with Fultz, I think, when they were first talking about him. But I think that was also generally regarded as like a bit of a weird draft. But VJ Edgecombe
First surprise of the draft. Yeah.
Yeah, I had him going 4 to Charlotte. VJ Edge. They have so many guards. That's really
And center.
They're gonna have to play him next to Maxey. Him and Edgecombe can play off the ball though. I think that's what they're thinking.
Because Maxey's not just Maxey. There's a shitload of guards over there. That's really strange. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's pretty good.
He's good. He's a good defender too, perimeter defender at least.
Yeah, that's cool. Good for him. Trust the process. That's worked out really great for them so far. What were we talking about right before that? Oh yeah, Cooper Flag. He's genuinely so good. He's really going to be sick. And I think that Tatum draft with it, that Fultz went, I think it was just regarded as a little weird because wasn't that the Lonzo Ball draft too?
Yeah, that's why we traded back to 3.
That was weird. Like the Lonzo Ball conversation was really weird because it was being heavily influenced by his dad, his sort of like pre-celebrity and like the Ball family and like all that stuff. So I think it was throwing like a lot of teams off. And I think the fact that like the head ball number 1, the left ball, he was pushing to send him to the Lakers, right? So it was like, yeah, it'd be fucking weird if the Celtics of all teams took him now. Like that's really strange. And then just sort of the like needs must at that point, right? Like we were sort of like, do we like, even if Fultz is like all that and a bag of chips, like we need a forward. So if they rated Tatum, that was the time to take him. That was the smart thing to do. So yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy surprised that it worked out the way that it did that year. Just like we're not at all surprised about this. But to your point, Mike, like, could he fail? Of course. Like, there's no such thing as a 100% guaranteed lock. I'd say, like, I think that was the only one where it was like, I mean, because he had every single box checked. Like, he had already like proven that he was not going to get in trouble. He had already proven that he was the best athlete we had seen coming into the NBA. Probably in our lifetimes, because he's definitely the best athlete that we've seen like get to the level that he has. I don't know. I mean, I think that was the last time that was like the most lock. I don't think I would rate him higher coming out than like Tim Duncan. But like as far as other number 1 picks go, I mean, he's pretty up there.
Well, it's definitely more guaranteed than Fultz though, because the Mavericks wouldn't even consider trading this pick. And the Celtics traded that number 1 pick.
Do we think he's more guaranteed than Kyrie?
Yes.
John Wall?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're naming guards, so it's like hard for me because I'm like, he's a really good like 6'8" forward. You know, like it's just
people
hard.
are comparing him to Tatum coming out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like the last consensus this guy can't fail was Cade Cunningham, right? And Vic Wemby. Like those two are like
Wemby.
Yeah.
Wemby more so than Vic, I think, or than Cade. It's weird too because is Kyrie out for the whole season? Because like Kendrick Perkins was on the NBA draft pre-show being like they're immediately a championship contender, and it's like, isn't he hurt though? Isn't Kyrie hurt?
It's gonna be like they have him projected to come back right around Christmas.
Yeah. He tore his ACL. Who is he when he comes back? Are we fully in the era now where if you tear your ACL, you can come back from it?
Yeah, 100%.
Remember when that was like a career ender back then?
Yeah, I do. Like
AP
in our lifetime.
Came back in like 6 weeks in Russia.
AP was like, I put a video of AP came out of him getting into a fist fight over a poker game, and he got his ass beat, which is kind of crazy because the other guy was just like a poker playing like chubby guy, and he was AP, and he got pieced up. Just goes to show, doesn't mean you can fight if you play in the NFL.
He can run though.
Yeah, you can definitely run. I mean, use what God gave you, man. Get out of there.
I'm ready to sweat. You just stiff on him.
Instead of a fight, how about we fucking race?
Let's talk about the Boston Celtics and the moves that they've made over the last few days. The East is wide open for whoever wants it at this point because if we were, in theory, the best team in the East, even though we didn't even win it last year, I'm standing pat if I'm the Cavs because it's looking like we're getting rid of assets in order to not pay salaries next year. We got rid of Jrue Holiday. We got rid of Kristaps Porzingis. We are now officially underneath the second apron. Bobby, who are you more sad to see go? And what does this mean? And what is this signaling to you for the future of this franchise? I know you've expressed worry about potential Jaylen Brown trade if they're really clearing house. But who are you more sad about? And what does it mean?
It's definitely Jrue. You know, as much as the Kristaps presence changed how we played, having that inside presence as well as, having the stretch five there. Jrue was just something special. We were all so pumped when we got him. He was great not only on the court, but off the court. I think the city of Boston is a little bit more sad that he left than the actual team because of the shit that he did in the city. So it's
Doesn't like
Jrue.
Portland either.
And yeah, I heard he's pissed.
I heard he's pissed too.
But it's definitely Jrue because of I feel like he took over the Marcus Smart presence on this team. It went from chaos to calm and collected because it went from Smart to Jrue. So that take coming out, I just hope it doesn't affect Tatum and Brown and their ability to move forward. That's what worries me. But seeing KP go doesn't hurt too much because of the injury concerns. You know what I mean? We were only able to get back Niang for him. So
yeah, that was fully just, can someone please take this contract from
Straight
us?
down.
Like, whatever, like, we can't hold on to it anymore. Hot potato. Because then it's just like, it's just the physio's room. The entire is so many millions of dollars at this point. Like Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum are already like on the fucking, on the health table. Porzingis is going to be at this point. It's just a proven thing. So it is what it is. I would definitely be more sad about Jrue as well.
You went
with
4?
Charlotte. So Ace Bailey has dropped officially. Is he fully in free fall at this point? I think
he didn't work out for those
the
teams.
consensus is that he wouldn't go to any of these places and that he was in these interviews. He didn't do super well. He's apparently quite immature. But I just thought smart money, take the best available player, right? Let's talk about Ace Bailey for a second. Mike, your opinion? Bad interviews, bad representation?
Just to piggyback off of like the holiday conversation, like this is the direct opposite of that, right?
Tough. Looks tough.
I think it doesn't make sense for a team to waste a top 5 pick on someone that clearly thinks way too highly of themselves. Now, if he gets humbled and gets selected, like if he falls to 10 or 11 or 12, whatever, I think that could be a good experience for him. I think he could really turn that into something, but I think it's a good pick by the Hornets. They need a good wing, and this guy is it. I just can't pronounce the last name, which is why I refer to him as this guy.
Knuppel?
Knuppel.
The K's there. Con Knuppel. Yeah, that's right. That sounds more right. Like that sounds more like how I've heard it. Not like the biggest. It's a little disappointing because I think the Celtics were like highly touting this guy. If we were going to trade up, it sounds all Brad Stevens indications were that if we were going to trade up, this is the guy we were going to trade up for. That being said, I think you can lay your trading Jaylen Brown or Derek White fears to rest at this point. Now, I think those were going to be the assets you probably needed. I think there's still a conversation to be had about what Sam Hauser could get you. Or what would I give you for Sam Hauser? Fucking high five, a ride to the airport. Yeah, I'd probably a Coke and a smile. I don't like nothing. That guy's useless. But it's just not my most favorite type of player.
He has apparently a large market on the open market, is what I've been reading. People are interested in Hauser. I mean, he's a wing that can shoot. You know, he can play a little defense. So I guess I get it a little bit, but
we haven't really seen the defense here.
If you can actually get something for Sam Hauser, though, you do it.
Mike,
I just think, well, we are going to need to supplement 30 points a game next year. Like, I wholeheartedly believe that we can still be like a number 5 or 6 seed. I think maybe even higher in the East. I
would give Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum and Derek White and those 3 guys. I would be like, you guys get a year like Al Horford took in Philadelphia. Just go do whatever you want. You know, go to Rome. Do as the Romans do. We're tanking.
I think you drafted Tatum and Brown because if, God forbid, one of them went down, the other could step in and fill their shoes. Like that's why you have.
But that's never historically been the case. You can't win properly with one and not the other, right? I mean, you can't. They are a duo. They run a 2-man game now.
I guess, would you consider that a success for Jaylen Brown?
I think it would be a failure for me because to let you in on a little secret, the reason why I want them to tank is because we're in the last year of Joe Mazzulla's contract. So if we could just run that down, and Joe can play.
He'll be signed before.
Case, and I'll tell you why. There's a 0% chance they sign him. Life is not that fair. You can't send Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers and re-sign Joe Mazzulla because that's not something that's like that would be too much.
Literally a month ago that both of those things are going to happen.
I was here for both of those.
You sure were.
And you're only half right so far. Yep. You're only half right. And if they re-sign Joe Mazzulla, if Brad Stevens It's Mike, there's no way. If Brad Stevens is as a human being that exists as smart as he is with the GM stuff and the coach stuff, right? And how good I've seen him be at every job he's ever had in the Celtics organization, to the point where I was a Brad Stevens defender when the team gave up on him. Like, yeah, I think we were all sort of resigned to the idea that because the team gave up on him, that was it. But I really always thought he was a really good basketball coach. I think he understood the X's and O's, and that's the kind of coach I like coaching my teams, obviously. I don't think that there's much of a place for rah-rah coaches in the NBA in general, but there are certain squad makeups that can really benefit from one. Like the way the Houston Rockets are, the way that the Indiana Pacers are. There's certain guys that really respond to that shit. We built the least rah-rah roster in the entire maybe history of the NBA. Like, you can't even hurt Jaylen Brown's feelings. Like, we never get in fights. We never get in even scuffles. Like, they're the chillest motherfuckers on earth, to a fault, to a point where it makes us go crazy. And Joe Mazzulla's like, all right, we gotta go eat their hearts. This is the day for Warriors. And it's just like, you need to run some plays. Brad Stevens has to understand.
Joe Mazzulla just signed a 3-year contract extension.
No.
I'm just
That would have been so crazy. I would have quit the podcast. I would have quit. I would have been like, that's our show.
No.
I believed you. I believed you.
I did for a
100%.
second too.
The absolute emotional journey that I just went on live on the podcast. I'm shook it. I'm fully shook it from that avenue. You got me there, dude. It's like you just leapt from around a corner. Wow, Ace Bailey only dropped to 5. Utah picked him. That's really interesting. First move in the new Ainge era was picking Ace Bailey, wing out of Rutgers. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Well, they have 2 first-round picks.
Two
right?
Rutgers. Yeah, 2 Rutgers top 5.
They also have 21.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what they're doing. I mean, he seemed pretty gung-ho, Ainge Jr. He seemed pretty gung-ho going in there, that they're not going to be a losing team anymore. So we'll see. Yeah, you really scared the shit out of me right there.
And I had Ace go to the Wizards. He did go a little bit sooner.
Yeah, nothing crazy has happened so far. I only wanted us to do this podcast during the watch along just in case something crazy happened, but the only crazy thing that happened was Joe Mazzulla signed a 3-year contract. Oh my God, that really fucking got me. I'm honestly coming down from like the adrenaline.
I want to watch that clip again because you looked in the same direction that I looked. Like you were just, you tried to mimic me. You're like,
what happened? Oh, I'm so scared. Yeah, dude, that's so funny. All right, I don't know how I'm gonna even recover from that. You might have to host the show for a while. No, it's okay. We were talking about the Celtics. If they don't tank and they play like you're basically saying we're gonna try for like an Isaiah season. Like that's your best case scenario.
I think first year of new ownership, they're not going to tank. I think that guy just spent all those billions of dollars. He wants to recoup some of his money, given that he doesn't even own the building. So he's
might not have a choice. We might not have a choice. We might lose 20 games in the first 3 months with Brown and Tatum out.
Brown's not going to miss any time.
He's not going to miss any games?
Nope. He'll be back for the start of
training. That seems really stupid.
So I like Anthony Simons.
Me too.
But for all the reasons that you hate him. Because he's a 3-point shooter. Yeah, he a guard that put up 20 points a game last year.
The problem with the shrink, like I don't mind him as a player at all. It's just that it's the style, my reservations and why I reacted the way I did is because it just means we're gonna still be playing that fucking Joe Mazzulla brand of basketball.
Oh, yeah. Because they're gonna just remember how you felt watching Brunson blow by Holiday.
Suicidal.
Right. So like that's why they did what they did. Like he lost the step.
I hated to admit it, but he was offensively a non-factor, and he was defensively could be put in situations where he was on an island. I thought that Brunson did a worse job on Derek White, to be honest with you. I think he fucking dog-walked Derek White all over that series. That was a big problem. And then, we've had this conversation, but like, fuck it. Let's like kick them in the teeth while they're on the ground one more time because it was really annoying what they did. Thanks a lot, Joe Mazzulla. They had every skill set on the court and available to beat the New York Knicks. And Joe Mazzulla couldn't figure out how to use them because we just play a brand of basketball where we blow you out if our shots fall, and there's a good chance you can beat us if you're smart about it when they don't. And I think that you could see the Indiana Pacers, and I think it's such a great example of how you should play basketball because Rick Carlisle was like just so situational throughout that whole 7 games. Like the thing that you were saying to me when you asked me, and I kept thinking about it throughout the series because basically the whole series has happened since you and I were last on a show. the thing that you asked me, like, what is there anything Tyrese Haliburton can do to like beat the Oklahoma City Thunder? And I was like, I don't think so. But I wasn't thinking about the shit that Rick Carlisle could do, which was like he made stuff work for 5 minutes at a time, but it was like a crucial 5 minutes. Like at one point, he switched Siakam onto SGA in the mid range, and I was like, it's gonna take SGA like 5 minutes to figure this out in a tone of like, don't do that. Like it's gonna take. He's gonna figure this out right away. And Rick Carlisle, Spirit Rick Carlisle, like Mufasa in the sky, looked down at me and was like, I only need 5 minutes of this. And that was the stuff he was doing where it was like, oh, basketball meta energy. And I could not help every time something like that would happen. And I would watch the switches happen. I would watch them carry out the instructions because that was really like one of the coolest things about watching that, other than the zombie factor, which I'm sure was Bobby's favorite thing of the Pacers. There's there's absolutely no quit. Like we just keep going. We keep playing. The context of the game doesn't apply to us. Like that was awesome. That was amazing. But also how they were carrying out instructions and matchup switches and being unaffected then as they broke down. They were like, okay, next thing. Okay, next thing. And I think that was very Rick Carlisle because he has the experience and has shown us on a massive stage that he went out in the 2011 finals against the Heat and he was like, Jesus Christ, I have to contain like the two best players in the world. And he's like, here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it a few minutes at a time. I'm going to like expose the LeBron James needs a post game. He needs to go work on that in the summer, which he does. And then he becomes like a much better player because of it. Like Rick Carlisle taught LeBron James like a fucking lesson in that series via Dirk Nowitzki. So it's like, I just loved watching that. And that's what I was so excited to see fall down. But I couldn't help but every time I watched Rick Carlisle do something cool, be like, holy shit, Joe Mazzulla would never have thought of that in a million years. He could fucking throw darts at a dartboard for 1,000 years like a Sisyphean Greek tragedy, and he wouldn't land on one of those ideas because it's always going to be, just shoot more threes. And not even in the Brad Stevens way that he did it, and not even in the Stan Van Gundy way that he did it, because at least he wanted a presence down low at all times. Just in a Joe Mazzulla, like, what's an inbound play sort of, what do pink crayons taste like sort of way. And I think that's the thing that really annoyed me about him is that I watch other coaches and I'm like, damn, dude, I think we have so many fucking good players. Do some cool shit with them, bro. Like, think of some stuff.
No.
I think when you watch them against Spoelstra, the year they got knocked out by them too, it's the same type thing. Where you just see a coach that's just on another level.
But he had so much more. He had so much more leeway with even me at that point because it was like, man, he got put in a really tough spot, like coming off, to a double promotion, basically coming out of a scandal. I thought that the reason that we really got through that was how like deft Brad Stevens was with everything, and I'm grateful to Joe Mazzulla for stepping in and being the kind of personality that he was stepping in, because I think he needed to have broad shoulders to step in there. And I think that he did calm himself down in order to lead us to a championship. But that was really him just getting out of the way, just calling timeouts at the right time. Like we really needed the bare minimum of coaching to win that championship. Let's be really honest with ourselves, because our roster was absolutely stacked and we didn't really have to play any like other generationally good championship level teams on our way there. If we're really being honest about it, if we had seen Rick Carlisle and the Pacers that year with Joe Mazzulla, even our championship year, I don't know. Like that same Rick Carlisle and the Pacers team that just got to the finals, like I think we might have gotten shocked. I think we might have taken a fucking punch straight to the face after we were all on this podcast being like, we fucked them.
Like Rick Carlisle and the Pacers?
I'm talking about this iteration of them. Yeah. If we had seen like this level, all these players, this run, I think we would have gotten swept aside by the momentum of their run this season too. You know what I mean? Based on everything, the way that they came together. I don't think there was much anybody could have done about the sort of serendipity of that season. But if anyone could do something about it, it's not Joe Mazzulla. It's my point.
Certainly.
Because like, we bitch and bitch and bitch about getting beat by the fucking Knicks. We would have lost in the next round if we had gotten through New York. Like we would have. And we would have deserved to. Just like we did.
Can I ask a question? Because we talked about Jrue. I want to hear your take.
Trade Johnson to Washington.
Given what we know and what happened, do you still make the trades for Porzingis now?
1,000 times out of 1,000 and twice on Sundays.
Sure.
I'm not pulling. I have the ring.
Because our greatest fear came true. Like he was never healthy for the playoffs.
We made those, but we got out of those trades clean, dude.
We got assets back too for both those guys. I mean, Simons is more of an asset than Niang, obviously, but
he's an actual asset, I would say. I think he actually has value, and we're at the very least going to play to his strengths, right? So he's not going to lose value on the team. Yeah, he's not going to lose value on our team, right? He's going to be playing with good players. If Mike's right, and we're just going to the Tatumless Celtics, there might be an Isaiah year possibility. It's kind of an augmented Ewing theory because there's other factors at play. So I don't think it can be a true Ewing theory. But if we do win enough games in the dog shit East, like the absolute dog shit East to get into the playoffs, like, I don't know. That'd be kind of crazy, I guess, but I wouldn't let myself get too excited.
It's June 25th. Celtics are going to win 50 games next year.
I think it's like 48 and 30 something.
I mean,
Never mind
to
the
blow
math
this
on
all
that.
up, we're still better than the 76ers. We agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
How-
Well, this
how-
depends. I mean, this depends. Like if we're asking post-surgery Jaylen Brown to start the season and like lead this team and win a shitload of games, sure. But I'm not 100% locked in on that being the case.
Just for the
Let's
sake
see.
of this scenario, let's just
And the roster is going to look like either. We don't really know what the roster is going to look like fully. Like we haven't even made our pick in the draft yet.
Pacers' best players out for the entire year. So, like, we're markedly better than that team. I think we're right on par right now. Like we all said, without Jayson Tatum, still we had more talent than the Knicks. So maybe the Knicks go to number 2, number 1, whatever. But
I mean, the Pacers are a good example. Like if we played the Pacers, us as we're currently constituted, them as they're currently constituted, like I kind of think we get fucked up. Haliburton, we're like, what do we? No Haliburton, no Tatum, but like, what do we do about Pascal Siakam? Like, what do we do
Al can
about
take
him?
him. Don't worry about him.
If he comes back.
He might
come
be
back. He's-
retired. He'll play.
He'll play. Listen, that aged well.
I don't think that it's a lock to beat the Pacers twice.
Okay.
Even without Haliburton. I really don't.
I just don't know that you can name 6 better teams than the Celtics in the East as it's currently
I
constituted.
think we could be the 6th seed with 44 wins.
I'm going to hit it over 49.5.
I'll give you let's do it right now. I'll be your bookie. Just put it in the
Okay.
log. If you let's put $50 on it. I'll take the under of 50. You take the over and like we'll do
49.5.
49.5. That's totally fine. I'll give that to you. I mean, I hope you're right in the sense that
No,
I
you
don't
don't. No,
hope
you
you're
don't.
right at all. I want us to lose next season so Joe Mazzulla goes away. We'll see how it goes. Don't you?
Oh,
If it's a Thibodeau type situation where if you fire Joe, who are you going to get? Who's actually out there that
Sam Cassell.
The first guy you see when you open
That'd be
the
cool.
door to the garden, just hire him. The fucking janitor.
Ray?
Yeah. Ray can
Ray's
do
all
it.
the time. Right.
That'd be so much fun.
that sounds
I mean,
great. Yeah, that sounds
It'd be
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, we're just rolling in. I'd move if I got to be on the Celtic coaching staff. No problem. I'll live out of a hotel for a little while. I'm on the road whenever you want me to, to join up with the staff. Not fucking Joe Mazzulla's staff though. Ray's staff, I would join. No problem. I'd be happy to do it. That'd be really cool.
I'm intrigued to see how much it changes next year, having one star though instead of the 2, because they're not going to be able to go back and forth like they did and just play ISO ball, Tatum, Brown. They're going to have to change that game plan, Jalen.
There's also the
You're gonna have
possibility that of the. I agree. I guess I just don't know if he has an idea of what he's going to do. I think Joe Mazzulla's idea is probably going to be like wear a half and half jersey, half Tatum, half Brown. That's a cursed number. He should change his number. 1, just be 1 next year. That'll be it. We're good. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see it too. To be honest with you, because there is the possibility of the Jaylen Brown. Oh, you think I can't run the fucking team season? Like there's that, like I don't doubt that guy. I'm on record that I've always sort of preferred him to Tatum, to be honest with you. So
same.
I like his game. I like watching him play basketball. And I think that he was making smart decisions when a lot of the players around him weren't in a lot of situations, which is why he won finals MVP. He obviously he scored a much lower point total than the last like 8 finals MVPs. But if it is just him, do those point totals go up? Is he just more of a scoring threat automatically, and he just has to go because we need him to? Maybe. I mean, maybe he has a statistically best year. That'd be fun to watch. Him and D White in a 2-man game. Maybe they figure something out. I could see it. I really thought we were going to make it longer than
No.
7 picks. I really thought the NBA was faster than
Should
this.
we
But
project who we want the Celtics to select and why?
sure. Just for the record, Jeremiah Frears just got drafted from Oklahoma to the New Orleans Hornets. So if you have anything to say to him, you should say it now because no one's hearing from him for quite some time. Who would you like the Celtics to pick once we get down to 28?
Is it Maxime Reynaud? Is that how you
Mhm.
pronounce him?
Mm-hmm. The
From
Stanford
Stanford?
Center? Mhm.
Yeah, 7'1", averaged 20, 20 points a game as a senior. He's a
Voracious
good rim,
reader.
good rim protector, good defender. Well, he's a good defender. He's high basketball IQ. and he's an instant cheap replacement for Porzingis.
I had a very similar thought. I wanted Clarke out of Creighton. He's 7'1", and he's like 20 pounds heavier than your guy. So those are the two reasons entirely that I chose him. But I would have taken one of the two centers that I think is still going to be there.
He shoot from three.
I have no idea. I don't think he's much of a shooter.
My guy shot 35% from three, so Joe's going to take him.
I really hope he takes my guy then. Let me look at 30-point percentage. I wasn't thinking about
Race. He put us up there a week or two ago. Danny Wolf from Michigan, forward. He's got some size. He can stretch the floor. He can shoot. It's right up Joe's alley. And plus,
yeah, but he
could possibly play him at the 5. He's 6'10".
I think that's pie in the sky, to be honest with you.
I also really like, it's also pie in the sky, but Nick Clifford from Colorado State. That dude is a beast. He brought Colorado State to the Sweet 16 this past year. Almost upset Maryland in the Sweet 16 too because of him.
Yeah, 35% from three also, Mike. I would happily take either of those two guys, but I think we'd need to be at the very minimum. I think we'd need to get one of Brooklyn's picks, their 22nd pick. I think we could get one of those two guys with that, maybe. But if you really wanted to guarantee it, I think you'd have to get up to like 19, 20. Trade the higher Brooklyn Nets pick with them or trade with the Heat. I think those guys are gone by the time they get to us. It'd be cool if they weren't. That's why I went for the center. Also, me and Mike were thinking the same thing. But it just makes sense to me because, like you said, we at least got an asset back with getting rid of Jrue and getting back Simons. This would be like, we're going to replace Porzingis in the draft. Pretty Brad Stevens, to be honest with you. And honestly, are either of those guys ever going to be as good as Kristaps Porzingis at his peak? No. But at least they'll play. So I think having a 7'1" guy on the team would be great. I am a big fan of 7'1" basketball players. I think that's the height you should be.
How tall is Kata?
7.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else anybody would like to say about either the draft, what the Celtics are looking like next year, what we just went through emotionally in the finals? Glad we didn't have to wallow in that too much because, damn, I mean, he was even standing in the same spot as Tatum. Like, it was the same, like, push-off, too. That was kind of a traumatic finals, to be honest with you. There was a lot of, like, nauseating, horrible moments.
It was uglier than Tatum's because you saw the reverberation. Tatum
agreed. You knew something was fucking up with Tatum right away, too. And, like, I think the number one for, like, how disgusting the injury was definitely KD because he has those really weird skinny legs. So if you remember,
see it like roll up.
Oh God, dude, it snapped like a fucking taut rubber band. You could just see it. And like, that was our first experience with that injury too. So, like, to really see it in like 8K. And I was like, oh, and like, I mean, he's still pretty good. So like, I'm hopeful. I know
coached by Ime. I mean, damn.
I know he doesn't. We'll see.
That doesn't start. I mean, Ime is smart though. Like, he knows. I got KD. He's not going to play defense for him.
So
yeah, I would take that was a great trade. They gave away peanuts essentially with like how what's his name, Jalen Green was working out. So like, I don't know, like he was so bad in the playoffs. You're just like, oh shit, we can get KD for this guy. Like even a 37-year-old KD, and like he'll be pissed off that he's here in like 2 years, but at least he won't be paying income tax. So that might buy us some time. But like also, if we want to have a quick conversation about KD, he is the problem. Hi, it's him. He's the problem. It's him. I know. I just for years was like sort of a defender of him. I think because I liked his game so much, and like
I also love you just paraphrase Taylor Swift. Both things just warm my heart, actually.
Yeah, and Adele. I'm trying to keep it contemporary with the kids. You know, we got to keep the audience up to date. And KD's on his way out. Like the kids these days don't know, Mike. Kids these days don't know what a problem that man was. Still take a 37.
Him at Texas. Him at Texas. Remember him? He was unbelievable. God.
No, because that was like. You're not supposed to be able to move like that. You're not supposed to be able to move like that, KD. Like that, I was like that. I got the same feeling when I saw Wemby. That was the same shit where I was like, wait a second. What do you mean his game is that he like floats outside? Like I put my player on in NBA. I put him on the Spurs just to play with Wemby, and I'm like, Wemby, you're an inside scorer now. You're just gonna have to deal with that. You're 9 feet tall, brother. You got to get in there. And I think once that actually happens in real life, that's when that whole situation is gonna be unlocked. But what were you gonna say, Mike?
I think that perfectly highlighted the fact that KD was a problem when the Warriors called
it happened everywhere he
went. This year, the Warriors called about him, and he like literally said, "Nah, I don't want to do that again."
Fucking hate everybody.
Yeah, you don't want to go win another fucking ring, asshole. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, he's the NBA Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
ooh, that's harsh.
Kyrie, is it Kyrie?
No, there's a
at least Kyrie's kooky,
just like Aaron Rodgers. I truly loathe Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, me too. I love
Kyrie's
KD,
kind of
so-
Kyrie's redeemed himself a little bit over the past year or two.
because
Nah,
he's
fuck
fucking
it.
solo.
No,
That's
he
true.
stomped on Lucky. Fuck him.
Yeah,
Like, I don't want
Something
anything
for
bad to
him.
happen to him. He's a great basketball player, but fuck him. Katie's
Yeah.
just a pussy. Like, he creates burner accounts on Twitter to talk good about him and bad about other people.
I feel like all my favorite people, like on the athlete side, always end up being like massive pieces of shit on the human.
Oh
beings.
yeah, Connor, KD.
Conor McGregor. Dude, they fail as humans. Like all my favorite athletes fail as human beings. Like Brian Urlacher has a podcast where he just talks about how smart Donald Trump is, but he was my
Well,
absolute by far
he gets
favorite football player of all time. He's probably got
CTE.
CTE. I agree.
So we read that one off.
Fine. Kevin Durant, who I've just like absolutely adored since he came into the league. You can't
Your
separate
problem
the art
isn't
from
that
the
you're them. You're like, what I'm seeing, what everyone is seeing with
I
my
get
own
blinded
that's
by the
not-
skills. With Conor McGregor, I mean, I will admit on the
Bret
Conor
Hart.
McGregor front, I went too long on that train. Probably by about 2 months. Like I would probably have to go and like scrub my old tweets if I ever got like if I wanted to run for office. But only by like about 2 months though. And then I think what happened was he was so fucking funny and good at press conferences, and he reminded me of like kids I knew growing up in fucking Dublin. Like I was just a fan of his whole brash demeanor, you know, and he was very of our generation and he was hilarious. And he would say all this shit and he would go like knock motherfuckers spark out. It wasn't like he was winning fights by the skin of his teeth. Like he was going and just putting dudes away. Nothing tops the 2016 peak of Conor McGregor. And yes, I openly admit he's a massive piece of shit. He's a failure as a father and as a husband and as a famous person and as a human being. And he fully sucks. Like he fully just, and he looks ridiculous. He looks like a parody of himself now. It's very disappointing.
All right, who else?
Would you consider Allen Iverson in that camp? Because I loved AI, but he had a lot of problems when he was sort of in or getting into the league and in and around the league. But I think he's kind of generally considered a good guy. Jay Cutler, you know, I was a big defender.
You're like Jay
Jay.
Cutler?
At the time, I wouldn't
Oh,
shut the fuck
shit.
up about him. I am consistently reminded by my close friend's little brother that I would, and I still think this is true. I would always be like, he's got a bigger arm than Tom Brady. I would always say that. That was the
Of
thing.
course he
But he
does.
did. He did have a
Yeah.
bigger arm than Tom Brady. So I would like people were like, but then that got conflated into he's better. But I never said that. I always just said he's got a bigger arm than him. And I was convinced he was going to lead us to the promised land. Absolutely convinced. And I've been convincing myself of Bears things for like a long time. Jay Cutler, not a good guy by all accounts. Not a great dude. Had a fucking cannon though. So like I was blinded. by the cannon. Like what else are you going to do? I'm sure you guys, it's happened to you guys. I don't know if you had somebody on your team that played tight end that murdered someone, but it does happen. Aaron Hernandez, if you seem confused.
Well, because legally he was acquitted of those after he killed himself.
Technically, because the appeal was still in court, he was acquitted.
Yeah,
Because I think he took the express train out of those charges. That's what I
Yeah.
think.
oh, no, he definitely did it.
All right. On that note, actually, on New England murders, let's end the podcast
Nice.
here.
Yep.
Did she do it?
Didn't
Everyone you know
yeah.
is set up.
Oh my god.
My
What
sister
does
is friends with the family of the cop that set her up.
Set her up?
Yeah. Does she have the face of a woman that looks like she did it? Yeah. Oh yeah.
that was her biggest problem. That was the
100%,
biggest
yeah.
issue. Because I was saying that to my buddies. I was like, dude, how many just like absolute mass trash do you know that looks and acts just like this girl? Just you're in the worst dive bar in Worcester and you're having a conversation with Karen Reed. Like all of us have been there like a million times.
Sure.
And it's just like, so like I think people from Massachusetts are so quick to jump from that to like, yeah, she could fucking kill someone. And you're just like, dude, that's a big leap. It's the whole like Googling of like, did she, like, how long does it take for a body to die overnight from hypothermia thing that like had it sold for me, to be honest with you. That was slam dunk at that point, right?
Well,
Was there a bigger piece of evidence? No, not her. Not her.
Yeah,
The people in the
I
house.
don't know.
Killing is ridiculous. That piece of glass stayed on the fucking bumper for the entire time it was towed. Yeah, okay.
They bagged evidence in a stop and shop bag. You are a cop. At your house, there is a dead cop in your front yard, and they never go inside to check. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, that's clearly, if there was a dead guy in my front lawn, I guarantee cops would come inside. Guarantee.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what the fuck's going on here? But
Yeah.
they never went inside the cop's house. Come on.
Yeah, that all seems really, really strange. But like, what do you do now? Do you go retry it? Do you go
They can't.
accuse them
Double
of some
jeopardy.
shit?
Oh,
No.
well,
Doesn't
if-
count
if-
as double jeopardy
if-
because you're not charging her.
if the O'Keefe family, like, and they're the real, like, obviously, like,
Civil
he's
suit.
the victim. But if they don't go after somebody else, what does that mean? Because clearly it wasn't her.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad she got acquitted. I kind of thought she was gonna. I was just a little taken aback the first time with the hung jury because I was like, "What?" Because I think it was going her way for the like. I think that's why that or is that confirmed that it was going her way?
Yes.
Okay. And like some weirdo was like, "No, I won't say." It was like one. It was like the manslaughter charge, right? He was like, "No, because you can't be there and not like It's like if she wasn't there.
Well, the jury came back today in this one. They were like, if we convict her on the lesser charge, does she also get convicted on the bigger charge? And they were like, once I heard that, you're like, oh, she's not going away. Like this, she very clearly was driving drunk, but the cop that she was driving with had a drink in his hand too. So
you actually literally couldn't not charge her with the OUI.
Right.
Because like that, I'm pretty sure that was kind of a linchpin of the defense's case. They were like, oh yeah, no, she was shit-faced. Like they kept saying that. Like they were like her whole like My Story documentary that came out in between. Her whole thing was like, oh no, we drove drunk all the time. This is the kind of people that these fucking cops were. Like they broke the law. They're already cool. It's like that puts shit in your mind anyway. It was a good defense, honestly. Yeah. Welcome to our true crime podcast, Missing the Point Murder.
He's a great lawyer.
Yeah, rock solid. Really good job. And also really great job by you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me and talking NBA for a little bit. The rest of the draft's coming. We've put our picks in. I'm glad you shouted out Ray's pick and yours, Bobby. That was really nice of you to put his absentee ballot in. And I guess I'll talk to you guys in the group chat. Good show, everybody. Good day.